much less.
So should we talk about Beastars first?
Let's talk about Beastars Season 2 first.
I was going to say.
I want to do a wrap-up on Beastars Season 2. I have so many notes.
Okay.
But first, at the top of this, I'd like to say, I know I've had a lot of opinions about Beastars, and I feel as though Beastars is the kind of show you should have a lot of opinions about.
Yeah.
I feel like if you just watch Beastars and you're like, just another day in the anime bank, fucking wild. You're ridiculous. Get out of here. Legosi is the most insufferable MC I've ever Listen,
This is coming from a Sword Art Online fan.
I would like to establish I enjoy Beastars. I've gotten an episode ahead of what we were supposed to watch because I was like, I'm having a lot of fun with Beastars. I'd like to continue watching it. I fucking hate Legosi. I don't hate Legosi, right? I appreciate him as an MC, but my God, is he the most insufferable edgelord in the history of anime? Oh my God, like him and Kirito deserve to be talked about in the same categorization. You talked about it. We talked about it last week in the podcast where we're like, he has the most fucking fedora tipping energy out of any MC we've ever seen before. He's like talking to Haru and he's like, I need to protect her. Yeah. And it's like genuinely, and I don't know why. We were talking like 3 or 4 days ago. And I was like, has fucking Legosi ever considered that maybe Haru just wants to like hang out and watch a movie? Like fucking he's like, I can't be with you. I need to protect you. Hey man, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Every guy that's like, I need to protect my woman. I need to be strong. No, you don't, man. They kind of just want to have a bowl of chips and sit on a couch with you. That's a girlfriend 101. But he's like, I need to eat bugs and I need to, my fucking God, the moth scene.
I forgot about the moth.
Oh my.
And it talks to him. It's like,
fucking God.
Isn't it like, it's like, please don't eat me, Legosi.
Dude, okay, to give some context here for those of you who haven't seen Beastars, Legosi is a wolf.
Yeah.
He is a big old gray wolf. He's considered big amongst the wolves in Beastars.
He's tall.
He's training with a panda.
Yeah.
Pandas are vegetarians, they're herbivores. And this
Who
panda,
kidnaps him?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
So this panda is a psychosomatic doctor who basically tries to treat carnivores who are addicted to meat, which I get. But like the Beastars, like the entire Beastars premise being like, oh, carnivores are addicted to meat. It's what they eat. It's what they fucking.
Well, it's tough when the thing they eat also has personalities and faces and lives.
Fucking pigs are as smart as dogs. Like octopuses can remember patterns. It's all the same. And so, anyways, you're right. They have lives. And I'm sorry. I've gone too far. You're right. I've diverged.
Well, I'm just saying. Look, I'm also pro segregation in terms of Beastars. In terms of Beastars.
Hard cut right there.
Our TikTok editor is just gonna be like, I'm in terms of segregation, in terms of, and then just cuts to a completely different clip. I'm like, race.
Yeah. Yeah, our fucking TikTok editors leave us out to dry sometimes, dude.
Put us up to the storm. But fucking, I'm pro segregation.
Yeah.
Full stop. Always.
Yeah.
Because.
In Beastars. Please, Danny. Please.
Beastars. Because, they're eating people.
They're
just eating people.
Yeah.
There's a conversation, not to jump to season 3, there's a conversation in the first episode of season 3 where like these two guys are like
sipping on the energy can or something.
Yeah, well, one dude's like, yo, I hit the black market yesterday for the first time, lost my meat virginity. And he was like, yo, that's sick. What'd you eat? And he's like, had some pig. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you were in college?
Yeah.
Just sitting there listening to a lecture, two guys behind you are
as
like,
a pig, maybe. There's pigs at this school.
You're just sitting in lecture, dude behind you is like, yo, I was chowing down on a Puerto Rican dude yesterday.
Yeah. Dude, I had a fat slab of 5'7" white man, and I was like, oh, okay. I think I'm gonna sit over there with the fucking llamas, please and thank you. So anyways, as I was saying, Legosi is a big wolf who's working together with a panda who's like the master of like psychosomatic medicine who's trying to cure these carnivores of their meat addiction. And Legosi is therefore trying to become immune to like the idea of meat because he's like, I don't want to be tempted by meat. I don't want to be tempted by herbivores. I want to be able to defend herbivores, so on and so forth. All to defend Haru, his girlfriend, who he could just spend time with. And so Legosi is like locking himself in a room with a hunk of beef, and he's like, he's punching holes in concrete. Mind you. Like, this dude's fucking Bill. And eventually
he shaves his entire body,
gets it all back after eating a bug. But for some reason, and it's never explained, Danny. It's never explained why this happened. Like, when prepping to fight a brown bear who's been established as the murderer in this school, basically, Legoshi, for some reason, with the panda presents him a bunch of moth-like larvae and is like, eat one of these. You need to eat, like, to gain strength or something, to understand the concept of life. And Legoshi eats this moth larvae. And he's like, oh, it's wiggling on my tongue. Oh, it's gross. And then he gets really introspective about it. He's, I just took a life. Meanwhile, this is a man who hunted down Haru in like the first episode. Yep. And he's like, this moth, it was like a person. And like, it's never been established that insects are sentient in Beastars. And we've never seen
Yeah, Jack has a pet beetle.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
No, Legoshi has a pet beetle
Legoshi
Jack keeps an eye on.
Yeah.
And then there's like, before they do like the jaw wars, they're like, oh, you had bug larvae. That's like juicing, basically. Yeah. And but like when Legoshi eats this moth, mind you, he's like going through this like incredibly like self-indignant fucking like bully parade on himself. He's like, I took a life. And then he's about to throw up the moth larvae. And the moth is like, don't you dare throw me up. Yeah.
This is definitely the energy the moth comes in with.
We insects live every single day accepting the beauty of the world. And Legoshi's like, oh, he's being like enlightened, like Buddha under the fucking tree after 2 weeks of meditation after eating a moth. Oh. But yeah, fun show.
I love the idea, just going back on what you say about Haru.
Yeah.
I love the idea that Haru's like, oh my God, Legoshi, I haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? Did you like... We should catch a movie sometime or something. And he's like, how's it going? I've been locked in a cell for weeks. I shaved my whole body. Yeah. I've eaten nothing but crab shells.
Dude, he's been fighting like fucking ravenous rabid hyenas in back alleys to protect his girlfriend. He hasn't seen in a fucking month.
Haru's just like, hey, bud, when did I ask you to do any of this?
That's what you said. That's like what you said. She's like, I didn't fucking ask you to do any of this. And it's so...
And then the fucking lion crew kidnaps her.
And then he's like, oh, well, that's season 1, Dan. That's season 1. Haru gets abducted by the Shishigami at the end of season 1. The entirety of season 2 is just like, oh, Riz is the fucking brown bear who killed Tem, and now I'm prepping to fight Riz. All in is a pretense to fucking protect Haru, who, like, mind you, I want so badly, Danny.
You want her?
No. I don't want Haru. Listen, if I want anybody from this IP, or it's that llama. It's that saucy llama.
Dude, that is a saucy llama. I told you he was.
Yeah. Oh, no. You're talking about Pina. I'm talking about the lady llama who pops up in season 3. I don't know if you've met her yet.
I have no idea.
This is an episode 2 thing. You'll understand
Yeah, I have a lot of notes on her.
Oh, his neighbor.
Yeah.
She? Go baby, get it.
Dude. She absolutely
kind of a cutie patootie, if you ask me.
Kind of a thick queen.
Listen, I've only seen her in the PJs, but like
dude,
I could explore other regions.
I'd cheer her.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. That was fantastic. Anyways, I wanted really badly for like Legoshi to just be like off fucking around with Riz, and you were right. At the end of the season, literally everybody wanted to fuck Legoshi. Louis. You want to know my real number 1 complaint about this show? What? Every herbivore is so fucking horny.
I know. I was just gonna say.
Why are they all so fucking horny
there's that one like ram that corners Legoshi in the theater hole, and he's like, "You want to taste my thigh, don't you? Just feel its warmth."
Even Haru.
And Legoshi's like, "Hey, bud, I'm just passing through."
Dude, even Haru was like, "Are you gonna fuck me or eat me?" And then it was like, and then Louis is like, "I need to be rid of this number 4 mark on my leg. Eat my entire fucking leg."
I know.
Oh my God, they're all so, and I can't even feel bad. Like even Riz is talking about how Tem was like fucking like embraced him in the moment after like he scratched his arm. I can't feel bad for the herbivores because they literally say like in the show they're like, oh, like the herbivores have instincts too, and apparently their instincts is just to be fucking eaten.
Yeah. What do you think of Riz's like backstory? Because that
I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it was cool.
I loved it.
I liked it. I like that.
I remember it was so sick.
The entire point of this show. So like we can talk all day about how like if you're trying to make like a racial and or gender connection between herbivores and carnivores, while like on the most surface level it's a very profound thing to talk about. You can talk about feminist values and how Haru as a woman is trying to take over like is trying to not feel pity and therefore is like taking control of her life by sexualizing herself. Like all of those can be really good allegories for like things that happen in the real world. And I think where this show genuinely shines at its brightest is when we talk about people's natures and how they're forced to either live in their natures as like they're forced to live in their natures because of like how society perceives them or how they want them to be. And for that, I find honestly the carnivore stories. I find the carnivore stories more compelling than the herbivore stories. Because the herbivore stories are all the same. It's all like I'm afraid of the teeth. And then it's like,
it's a scary teeth-filled world.
Well, maybe I'm not afraid of teeth. I don't know. Like I could lose like a leg or something. And then, but like all the carnivores are in very different situations where it's like some of the carnivores lean into the fact like I need to eat fucking meat. And then some of the other carnivores are like, oh, I want to explore friendships with the herbivores. And then like people like Riz are like pervert that friendship, right? And it's like, okay, that like it now becomes a prey predator situation. I found the muscle atrophy drug thing probably the most compelling thing about season 2 because they're like, hey, you're too big. Make yourself smaller. Yeah. And I was like, that is out of everything, I genuinely believe that is the best allegory for race, like in the entirety of the show. Because it's like, hey, like there's the amount of the way that like it was like, oh, hey, if you don't want to be hate crimed by a police officer, sir black man, whistle Mozart while walking down the street, or don't sag your pants, or don't wear a sweater. Like the way that
what a specific scenario and piece of advice.
Well, like for a long time, for in the early 2000s, it was very much dictated to like black men. It was like, hey, like fucking make yourself non-intimidating. Like, have you like, oh, what do you mean? Like you keep getting stopped and frisked. Have you considered to take off your Brooklyn Nets hat? It's like put on a 3-piece suit, fine gentlemen. And I was like, that's the most compelling allegory I've seen is like for the bears being forced to take these muscle atrophy drugs because oh, you know, like they need to make themselves smaller. Unfortunately, like with the rest of the show, where the wheels fucking fall off is the fact that this bear can't touch people without ripping their fucking arms off if he has all his muscles. That is the best encapsulation of what Beastars is trying to accomplish. In principle, it is a fucking gorgeous allegory about like the struggles of society and how we force certain people into living certain lives. But also that bear just killed a fucking llama. Like it's so unfortunate because it just doesn't finish the action. Yeah,
you kind of have to. Again, we talked about this in regards to like X-Men and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, like you fucking racist pieces of shit. Like you want segregated schools? Hey, my kid can't shoot lasers out of his eyes, and I don't think he should be taking math with someone who can. Yeah. Someone who can't control it anytime their glasses get knocked off.
Exactly, and that's why Charles Xavier is such a compelling character in the X-Men universe, is because like specifically he runs a school for mutants. Yeah. And it's like, oh, that's why they're always on the right side of things. Like they understand like mutant kind should exist. But like mutant kind, it comes with a certain set of rules that like may not necessarily apply to fucking little Timmy who's got asthma in 3rd grade. Like fucking, oh, what do you mean that kid can teleport? Like he leaves a smoke trail every time he fucking jumps to business class. Like fucking Timmy's choking on it over here. Please, I don't need Nightcrawler next to my asthmatic 12-year-old.
Wow, what a great just out of pocket.
Thanks.
That was good.
Improv, baby.
That was good improv.
Thanks.
I motherfucking. Yeah, you kind of have to. It doesn't so much work as like, it's weird because
if you try to compare it to real life, unfortunately, that's where it falls apart.
No, because like, it's almost impossible to be like segregation in this world is wrong, like because it's so necessary for everyone's health and safety.
Yeah,
but where you can still like gather the allegory from is in how it makes the characters feel. Like, so you do have to separate it because in Beastars, it's like bears have to take this like shrinking drug.
A muscle atrophy drug. That doesn't allow them to grow their full size.
Yeah, a muscle atrophy drug. And we have to be like, that's necessary. Yeah. But we can still like extrapolate, oh, that must be so hard that they have to like medically suppress themselves. And then you need to use some critical thinking to be like, there isn't necessary racism in our world, but there are people who like still feel that way where they're like, oh, I need to take up less space. That's something a lot of minorities feel where they're like, I can't be like the loud black person or like overweight people or like, you know, just being in a room makes me feel uncomfortable because I feel like other people think I'm taking up too much of it.
Yeah.
And those are feelings that this show like really gets. You just need to do an extra leap of critical thinking and be like, but also most of these predators should be under house arrest all of the time.
Yeah, I was like, that's the thing, it's like, unfortunately,
it makes you a little racist while also being like, man, I feel so bad for victims of racism.
Exactly. Like the most compelling, unfortunately, the most compelling way for like, hey, oh, this bear like needs to take muscle atrophy drugs is like, well, then maybe the bear shouldn't take the muscle atrophy drugs and only hang out with the people that he doesn't run a chance of ripping in half with a soft touch.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they're in.
It's either drugs or segregation.
Like that. Unfortunately, those are the two fucking answers. And it's like the entire drama club incident that leads to the segregation of the school is a Black Panther, one of the smaller carnivores, just ripping the arm off his fucking anteater friend. Yeah. And there's a touching moment where the two of them are like, oh, I don't want to be afraid of carnivores for the rest of life. And it's like, oh, I vowed never to touch an herbivore again. And it's like, hey, man, I get that you've learned, but like one day after like 3 too many drinks, maybe you and your aunt like you're fucking, you want to give a high five to your fucking chipmunk buddy. And oh my God, did you, I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you saw it. Oh, you did see it. Okay.
The end of episode 1 of season 3.
The end of episode 1 of season 3.
The little dude
that
on the
chipmunk get absolutely dicked on, dude. Listen. I don't want to say I cheered because I had no feelings about that chipmunk. But watching a chipmunk take a fucking jar to the head, dude, I at least giggled. Like it was funny as hell,
dude. Well, I recorded my reaction already of this episode.
Yeah,
and I was like, that part. So these are now spoilers for episode 1 of season 3. Mm. It ends with, how does it end? Or like Legosi is confronted with something.
So
like just before, what happens just before they cut to that?
Legosi, does he have like the interaction with the lamb in the hallway where like the lamb's going to knock on his door because he's like screaming and he's like washing his face? Yeah.
Yes. So Legosi grabs the lamb and he's like slobbering all over her. And then it cuts to this little chipmunk guy on this like big grindstone doing some weird old Japanese like.
And he's just making hyper medicines.
Yeah,
whatever that means.
And I was like, in my reaction, I was like, I'm very stressed out for what's going on with Legosi, but boy, do I love this little guy. Mm-hmm. And then flash forward, that dude gets fucking jarred. And I was like, oh, why do I love things? Why do I say I like things?
Absolutely fucking, listen, I was like.
It's POV, you fuck that guy up.
It was like you see like pick a jar of rose petals and he's like, no. Just fucking beat this shit.
He literally goes from like, it's just this quiet little chipmunk like pedaling on this grindstone to like, please not the jar, anything but the jar.
And it's like, well, one, like it's an entire store run by chipmunks. Why were the jars so big? That's like, why the jars are way too high up. They're way too big.
There are 2 groups of people that I am like vehemently racist against in Beastars.
There's so many caveats.
In Beastars, that's predators. We need segregation.
Yes.
That's squirrels and chipmunks. Yeah. I'm sick of them. Everyone's almost stepping on them. They're always going into little doors into big rooms.
Yep.
Put them in their own school.
Absolutely.
I'm fucking sick of it.
The budget to build that school, tiny. Absolutely. I could build you a squirrel school the size of this desk.
I'll do it in an afternoon.
It's a Barbie playhouse. Yeah. You kidding me? Put it fucking in the parking. Put it somewhere. Yeah. A squirrel is this large. Like you need a 7x7 area to build a squirrel school. But no, they're running around with fucking elephants.
I know. I was gonna say you can't be having an elephant student go to the same cafeteria that a mouse student's in. Like. If that mouse dies, that's not on him.
It wouldn't even register. There's no way it would fucking register. No. You know, elephants
are afraid of mice.
They're not actually.
Weird.
I don't know. It was like a weird racial thing.
It must really.
Yeah, it was like the propagation of like a real. I don't remember the exact story, but it's like the propagation of like a weird racial thing from like the 20s.
I thought it was like one dude with an elephant in Africa or India was like, just his elephant like freaked out at a mouse, and he's like, hey, they do that.
I fucking know all like this.
Yeah, all of them.
Every single one of them's like fucking. It's just, like, I don't have an elephant. What do I know?
He's so desperate to be like the first on something. His elephant freaks out. He turns like, they're all like that, Steve.
Like, don't fucking jump. Mine's not defective, all right, just because he's afraid of ants.
It's like on a date, the parents are like, bad elephant. He's like, no, actually, they're
actually big elephant guy here. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And so, yeah, no, it was a very interesting episode, episode 1 of season 3. So we see the Shishigumi post Louis. They're kind of scrambling. There's like a big.
They got a new guy, the new leader.
There's a new leader who's got a switchblade, which seems redundant when you have claws.
There are so many characters in this episode.
Yeah.
whose face we don't see. They pull that bit 3 times, no less than 3 times.
There's the lion guy.
There's Lion. There's Legoshi's granddad.
Oh, who's a lizard?
Who's a lizard man.
A vibrant lizard man.
I haven't confirmed this yet, but I swear to God, I somehow jokingly called that. In like one of my reactions, I'll get someone to find it. In one of my Beastars reactions from like 2 years ago, I make a joke about Legoshi's parents being lizards. And I remember, the reason I remember is because there was a comment where people were like, you're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you.
Crazy.
So I don't know what the deal is, but there's him. And then in the very beginning, there's a detective. There's like a hard-boiled detective just stroking some carrots.
Like, I'm the Beastar. Yeah, the wolf guy. He's like, I'm this world's the Beastar.
I am become the Beastar.
Yeah, like and he's like, oh, I have to go get Legoshi. They do that bit 3 times.
3 times.
They also show that lion twice.
Yeah.
So the lion kills the in the world where there's no Italian food guy. And he's like,
was that what we did last week?
What?
In a world where there's no Italian food, do you eat a person?
No, that's a bit from years ago.
Yeah, what was that?
That was when I first watched Beastars.
Season 1?
Yeah.
Wow, what a throwback.
Years ago.
Do you still stand by it?
Do I stand by biting that man's finger off in a world where there's no Italian food and those are Olive Garden breadsticks?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I get sick of fucking... Oh, man, I get sick of like a red... I'm like, I can't do another Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuit or a fucking Texas Roadhouse cinnamon bread roll. I need an Olive Garden breadstick. Depends how much it costs me.
Yeah, I wonder what
if you go on National Meat Day or whatever.
No, I Love Meat Day.
Dude,
it's
he's
half
fucking
off.
slashing. What's the incentive for him?
Dude, I was gonna say, he wants the fingers gone. Like, these fingers are going fast.
Apparently not, because he's been there for like a year and he's got the same amount of fingers.
I love to, like, it's so funny that he starts by being like, the world's going to shit. I almost turned into that Smashing Pumpkins songs, like, the world is a vampire.
Oh, okay, gotcha, yeah.
But he's like, the world's going to shit. We used to have a beautiful I Love Meat Day, but now it's just an excuse for gangs to crawl out of their crevices.
Yeah.
This gang, this gang, this gang. And I'm like, oh man, this is like a haunting narration, like a kind of creepy fourth wall break. And then he's like, but anyway, it's Golden Week, so half off fingers.
So buy 1, get 2.
Yeah, bitch, this was a sales pitch? Yeah. Lead with the slashing prices.
Yeah, and it's like, did you wake up this morning, you're like, we gotta do 30% off. I hope no one buys
His
it today.
YouTube partner manager is like emailing.
Yeah, he's like, sorry, buddy, we're not doing the views we used to. We gotta cut prices here.
Yeah.
You're like,